MetaZoo's next set native is coming out soon, but the question is, have you looked into the beasties that are represented in the theme decks? Welcome back to Cryptid Theory, where we try to figure out the storyline and lore of MetaZoo using the cards. Today we are going to take a look at the 5 new theme decks coming out with the next set native, coming out in April, and I'm really excited about this one. One of them in particular was a little hard to find out some information, but we're going to jump right in and break down the lore of these 5 beasties. The first one I want to cover is Sisudal. Now, Sisudal is very interesting, and I did a very large, in-depth breakdown of it in a previous Cryptid Theory video that I put out a couple weeks ago, where I actually theorized that that was Sisudal because all we had at that point was just a picture. I will do a brief description here, but definitely check out that video. I'll post that link down below. Sisudal is a legendary creature found in many indigenous tribes of the Pacific Northwest of North America. It is described as a double-headed sea serpent. Sometimes there is a third head of another supernatural being. Sometimes, most likely, it actually is going to look a little bit more human than the other two ends, though. Sisudals are usually horned, and they typically have protruding tongues and spiral or upturned noses. The Sisudal also sometimes takes the form of a canoe. Shamans of various tribes believe that killing a Sisudal would transfer the healing magic to them, while warriors believed its blood would make them invincible in battle. And you can't talk about Sisudal without actually bringing up Wyandot as well, too, which that was another card that was spoiled here a couple weeks ago as well. Wyandot is a war god. It's associated with a magical war canoe. It pretty much is the war canoe. It's made of copper, it's invisible, it's able to travel on the ground, and most importantly, half of it is a Sisudal. The last half of it is a Sisudal with the actual head. Now, the next one I want to talk about is Iatiku, Mother Corn. Iatiku is the corn goddess of the Carisan Pueblos. She is also called Mother Goddess of the People. In actuality, it appears that she is the corn goddess of the underworld. From Shipap, the name of the underworld realm, humans first appeared. Think of Shipap as a vast city. Souls are born as babies, live lives, and pass away, sometimes to be born in the real world above Shipap. It is said, "She welcomes us home when we cast off this coil of flesh as huskers cast off the leaves that wrap the corn. She who lives where the 4 rivers of life come together at Shipap, from where she sends forth her counsel and greets those entering the spirit world." Now, in similar fashion, she gave corn to humans in order to sustain them. She plants bits of her heart in fields to the north, south, east, and west. Later, the pieces of her heart grow into fields of corn. She is associated with compassion, agriculture, and children. Her symbols are beans, corn, seeds, and soil. And interestingly enough, she has no animal totem. Now, the next one we're going to talk about is the 7 Maidens. This one was fun because there is no direct reference to a group or a group of beings called the 7 Maidens. The first one that showed up was the idea of the Corn Maidens. That's what I kept running across at first. See, the Zuni believe that Corn Maidens personify the bounty of corn that grows in 6 colors. The 7 Maidens made corn seed from rubbing the flesh of their bodies off. In legend, it is said that their breath is what brings rain and warm breezes of summer to the lands of winter. I was like, okay, but that doesn't really make much sense because we just had Corn Mother, so why would there be 2 theme decks referenced to corn? But then I started looking a little deeper, and I started to see that there were a lot of references to the Pleiades star cluster. See, most cultures have some sort of reference to these 7 stars. If you notice, you'll actually see that the theme deck is cosmic and light. So with that and the space theme, it gave me the idea that I was on the right track. Noted by scholar Stith Thompson, the constellation was nearly always imagined as a group of 7 sisters, and the myths explain only why 6 are visible. A lot of scientists actually believe that this is from observations early humans made as over 100,000 years. Because 100,000 years ago, you'd be able to see all 7 stars, unlike today where you really can only see 6 of them. Now, the most amazing thing to me was the amount of indigenous tribes in North America that had some sort of direct reference to the Pleiades. The number doubles when you actually include tribes from South America as well, too. For example, the Monache People tell of 6 wives who loved onions more than their husbands and now live happily in Sky Country. The Monte Alto culture called them the Seven Sisters and thought them to be their original lands. The Ojibwe people believed they were from a hole in the sky. They traveled in some sort of a ship that led to Earth on a spiderweb beam of light through a portal known as the Seven Sisters star system. Now, the one story that really stuck to me, though, was the story of the Kiowa Legend. This legend links the origin of the Pleiades to the Devil's Tower, which we have actually seen referenced a lot lately in the last couple sets. Now, the story goes that 7 little girls were chased by bears and climbed a low rock. They begged the rock to save them, and it grew higher and higher until they were pushed up into the sky. The 7 girls became the Pleiades, and the grooves on the Devil's Tower are the marks of the bear claws. Now, I do want to make a Legendary Collection video about the Wyandot Legend of the Seven Sisters. I thought it was really awesome, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss that when I actually release it. But out of everything I read, though, I believe that the 7 maidens are from the Kiowa Legend of the Seven Sisters. Now, most of that is actually due to the references to the Devil's Tower, because again, we've seen references to the Devil's Tower a bunch from different promo cards and from the different sets and things. So I think the Devil's Tower is going to play a bigger role in Native. Now, the next one that we're going to go over is Adlet, and I gotta tell you, these things actually seem a little terrifying. The Adlet are a race of creatures in Inuit mythology, along with the Labrador and Hudson Bay tribes. Adlet are a humanoid dog-legged tribe. The lower part of the body is the canine part traditionally, with the upper part being that of a man. Sometimes the entire body resembles a wolf, though, or a canine. Think more like werewolf almost. All Adlet are fast runners, but most stories involving humans with Adlet always lead to the Adlet being defeated. The origin of the Adlet is explained by the Inuit in the story The Girl and the Dogs. Now, in short, the story goes, a woman lived with her father and would not marry anyone. After rejecting all of her suitors, she ends up marrying a dog with white and red spots. Of their 10 children, 5 are fully dogs and 5 are Adlet. Now, the woman's father ends up killing the dog with the father with trickery, and the woman, fearing for the lives of her children, she sends the dog across the ocean in a makeshift boat. They become the Scandinavian ancestors, and the Adlet she sends inland to the forest, and from them numerous Adlet thrive in different tribes. Now, thinking a little bit more about this, in actuality, instead of her marrying a dog, she might have actually married a werewolf, or even some think she might have married a Wendigo. It could account for the hunger of human flesh that Adlet are known for, because Adlet are known cannibals. It is very dangerous for humans to actually run across Adlet, especially Adlet that fully resemble wolves, werewolves, if you will. So Adlet are very terrifying creatures that form their own tribes in the inland portions. Now, it does make sense that the Adlet's theme deck is Forest and Frost, because they are from Inuit mythology, and in the legend, the Adlet were forced to go inland where all of the trees were, so I actually kind of like that little nod. So now, finally, we're at the last big one, and I gotta be honest with you, skinwalkers are probably the most terrifying thing in all of Native, if not Cryptid Nation in general. In Navajo culture, a skinwalker is a type of harmful witch who has the ability to turn in, possess, or disguise themselves as an animal. First thing non-Navajo people need to understand is magic is very real to the Navajo. People who practice medicine, who are healers, are held in high regard, while witches are seen as evil, performing twisted ceremonies and manipulating magic in a perversion of the good works that medicine men and women perform. In order to practice their good works, healers are taught both good and evil magic. Now, most can handle the responsibility, but some people become corrupt and choose to become witches to use that power for their own gain and to harm other people. Now, there has been some information about skinwalkers that have come out over the years, but I'll be honest with you, it's not a whole lot. It doesn't really paint a full, clear picture. Skinwalkers can be male or female. They walk freely among the tribe during the day and secretly transform under the cover of night. To become a skinwalker, he or she must be initiated by a secret society, but it comes with a great price. The initiate has to kill a close family member. Most often it's a sibling. After the task is complete, the individual acquires the supernatural powers, which gives them the ability to transform into any animal. Now, they are often seen as coyotes, wolves, foxes, cougars, dogs, and bears, but they can literally turn into any shape of any animal they want to by wearing the skins of the animal that they want to transform into. Hence the name actual skinwalker. They wear the skins of what they turn into, so that's how they got the name. Sometimes they also wear animal skulls or antlers, which give them even more actual power when they transform. A skinwalker can choose to turn into whatever animal they need to, depending on whatever the situation is, and they can transform into a different animal if they need to get away, for example. Because wearing the skin of the animal allows the skinwalkers to shapeshift, the Navajo consider it taboo to actually wear the pelt of any predatory animal. Skinwalkers can also take possession of the bodies of humans if the victim locks eyes with them. After taking control, they can force the victims to do and say anything that they normally wouldn't do. They can make them do whatever they really want. You can tell a skinwalker is transformed into a human because they will have animal eyes, and vice versa. You can tell a human is transformed into an animal because that animal will actually have human eyes. Now, the other thing too is that if you shine a light on those eyes will reflect red, which tells you that it is a skinwalker. Skinwalkers supposedly have other powers as well, with a range of reading other people's minds, controlling thoughts and behavior, causing disease and illness, destroying property, and even they can cause death. Some can control night creatures such as wolves and owls, and some can call up dead spirits and reanimate corpses to attack their enemies, which again makes them truly frightening. Now, like I said, the full legend of the skinwalkers is not fully understood outside of the Navajo tribe. Now, most of this is due to reluctance of the tribe to discuss this with outsiders, and for the inability for outsiders to understand the lore according to native commentators, due to lacking the lived experience of living the actual Navajo lifestyle, the Navajo culture. Part of this could also be because the more that's it's talked about, especially the Navajo, it could give it credence, it could give it power, because again, power and thought and spoken word is a powerful medium that can energize something. So maybe it's one of those where they don't want to talk about it, because the more you talk about it, the more power you're giving it. But like I said, the skinwalkers, in my opinion, are probably going to be one of the most terrifying things in all of MetaZoo. I'm not entirely sure, and it's very fitting that this theme deck is dark and spirit, because that's exactly what I feel the skinwalkers are dealing with. So I guess after looking at these 5 theme decks, the only real question is exactly what is the 7 Maidens, what is that referencing? And again, it is my theory that that is referencing the Kiowa Legend of the 7 sisters that used the Devil's Tower in order to escape from the bears. I hope you enjoyed the breakdown of the 5 headliners of the theme decks for Native coming out later in April. I'm fully expecting to see a lot of spoilers at Collecticon Orlando later this weekend, so I'm really excited to actually get some more stuff to start breaking down, look into, figure out the lore for the beasties that are coming out in the next set Native. We still have a solid month and a half, almost 2 months before Native is released, so I can't wait for more spoilers. I can't wait to see more things that are actually going to be in this set, to figure out more tribes that are going to be represented in Native. But again, my name is Turmentic. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to subscribe, and like I said, check out the first Native beastie breakdown video that I did to get more information on Sasuddle. But until then, I hope you have a wonderful day.